and they're betting even Miami and under parlays, Miami and under teasers. So I'm confident when that game tips off, the books will be needing the Atlanta side, and they're going to hope that the sharps are right and that this game goes over because they backed off. Again, they backed off at about 219.5. Since then, you get a lot of the piggybackers, the steam chasers that are still betting it over. But the public money is more than going to balance that out. In fact, that'll be where the risk is at. In the second game, another spot where the dog money is coming in from the recreational bettors. Nothing from the sharps, nothing on the side, nothing on the total. But looking in the back end, I could already see they're taking Dallas. And when you start seeing the dog getting money line bets, then you know that's going to come a lot later, heavier with the point spread. Like I've already seen enough Dallas on the money line where they don't think they need the points against Memphis. Yeah, that you know they're going to be taking the 6 later today. And I think that's why it's come down from 6.5 to 6. I even saw like a 5.5 out there, but that jumped right back up. So obviously someone saw a weak number and laid the 5.5, and it bounced right back to 6. But they are on the dogs. Again, don't want to keep repeating myself. They're taking Miami. They're taking Dallas. That's the recreational bettors. And they're betting the under in both games, heavier on the Miami under. But the sharp bettors, they are on the over in that first game. And a real popular teaser I keep seeing, Miami at plus like 5.5 and 6, and Dallas up to where they're getting like 11. So they think Dallas is not going to lose by double digits, no chance, and that Miami getting points is stealing. So they're putting that teaser in like it's free money. The Miami-Dallas teaser is the popular bet of today for the recreational bettors. So see how it turns out for them. I don't really like it. I actually like the favorites myself.
We mentioned Davion Mitchell the other night. They moved his points to 9.5 to 10.5. I think I'd still play it small on the over. He's gone over in 7 out of 8 games. The play-in game, he played 33 minutes. He only shot the ball 5 times, but they were high percentage shots. He made all of them. He had a couple 3-pointers. He added 3 free throws. He had 15 points in that game, so he flew over the total. He's had 16 and 20 points against Atlanta this season, and Atlanta not very good against point guards. They give up 23.5 points per game to point guards. So, let's go right back to Davion Mitchell. And then golf round prop here. It tees off in an hour and 10 minutes. I'm going to take Victor Hovland over 2.5 bogeys in round 2. He had 3 yesterday, and he was in the much easier tee time in the morning. The morning guys got the easiest conditions, and he was spraying the ball all over the place. He had a bunch of birdies, but he also had a bunch of bogeys. This afternoon, Prez, the wind is coming in. I'm watching the golf right now. It's starting to pick up. It's going to get up to 20 miles an hour gusting later today. The afternoon guys are going to have it much, much harder. So Victor Hovland over 2.5 bogeys, and I already see the juice moving quickly on this one. So if you want to play it, I would lock that one in. Davion Mitchell, Victor Hovland, that's all I got for today.
Yamamoto's in his second year. And let me tell you something about pitchers who cross oceans in their second year. They excel. The reason is because Major League Baseball, Japanese baseball, they use different baseballs. The size is different. The texture is different. Very hard to get used to for guys who are gripping a baseball almost every day of their life. There's a culture difference. There's a language barrier. There's a lot to get used to when you cross an ocean. Usually first year pitchers like Sasaki we're seeing right now, they struggle a little bit because they're not used to the environment. They're not used to the baseball. They're not used to the crowd. So Yamamoto's in his second year. He's starting to get used to all that. He's having an amazing year. And if you break down his stats, he's striking out 12 guys per 9 innings. It's just amazing how well he's doing. I wish he could go a little deeper into the games, but I think that'll come in time. In any case, the Dodgers bullpen's struggling a little. Yates giving up runs like crazy. A lot of guys are giving up runs in that bullpen that you wouldn't expect to. So instead of a side, I think I'm going to go with a pitcher prop here. The Rangers are struggling a little at the plate. I think Yamamoto is going to go quite deep. Currently, his strikeout prop is 5.5, and I have him projected at 6.24. So the play I'm going to go with in this one is Yamamoto over 5.5 strikeouts is the first free play for today. So the Oakland A's, they get a lot of grief for their name and the fact that they're little nomads wandering around with no home, but they can smash the ball pretty good. And if you look at history, is a really small sample size, but both Brent Rooker and Seth Brown are 1-2 against Peralta. Peralta's a good pitcher, but I think the A's are going to get to him a little bit. And the A's have a couple of guys who can smash it. Let me say something about when you do batter props. A lot of people like to do total bases, but actually the hits, runs, RBIs is a little more profitable. And the reason is because if your guy gets a walk, it does not count as a total base. And you're probably only going to get about 4 at-bats per game. And if you get walked, 1 is gone. So hits, runs, RBIs, if your guy walks, he can get knocked in by the next guy. It still counts for your prop. Usually they're about 1.5. And I was kind of surprised to see Brent Rooker's hits, runs, RBIs at 1.5. He's batting in a real power lineup. Peralta is a good pitcher. I don't think he's a great pitcher, but he's good. But I think Brent Rooker is going to get on base, and I think he's going to score. I like the over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs for Brent Rooker in this game. That's my second free play for the show.
Well, Prez, I'm looking at the total in this one, and what I'm looking at is you've got Dallas that's coming off that blowout win over Sacramento, and then you got Memphis, as you said, they were down early, but they rallied back and made a game of it, really basically the whole fourth quarter, and they covered that game, but they lost. Morant's going to be a game time decision. That's a key factor for Memphis. He hurt his ankle in that game, came back. It left the game, but came back in the fourth quarter, but sat out of practice yesterday. Both teams went over the total in their last game. And so the knee-jerk reaction would be, hey, let's look at the over again, especially if you look, these two teams played a week ago. They played on the final day of the season, and it was a 132-97 win by Memphis. Well, I'm not going to go that way, and the reason I'm going to go to the under is for a couple reasons. The Dallas-Sacramento game the other night went over. 2 reasons. One, first off, Sacramento doesn't play good defense. 2, Dallas stormed out to a big lead in that game early on. And even though they had the big lead, they knew that they had to come back and play because of the way the play-in tournament is and where they were sitting, what seed they were. So they took their foot off the gas. They weren't playing hard-nosed defense because they were saving stuff for tonight to come back for the second game. Also, you look, well, they gave up 132 points in that season finale. The season finale didn't mean anything. So I always say when you get the end of the year and you got teams that are playing that there's not a life or death situation as far as the playoffs go, they're not going to put out the defensive intensity that you need. I think this is an underplay tonight. That's the way I'm going to go with this one. And if you look, the total on Sunday was 228. Vegas brought this out at 221. It's down to 220.5. So the market agrees with me as far as the bookmakers go. This is going to be an under tonight. They set the line 7 points lower than the last one, even though it went over the total. So put me down for under 220.5 in tonight's Memphis-Dallas game. Well, as far as the series go, Prez, this is one of those series that I think I'm going to take game by game. Now, a little shameless plug here. I do have a couple series plays that I do like. And if you check out a video that I just did this morning, it'll be up later today. It's Marco's Deli. I did give those 2 series plays out over there along with a couple other game 1 plays. So you can check all that out. Check out my, our YouTube channel and you can find that. But for this one, for the game, Prez, you're right. The public and the perception is all about the Lakers. Okay. Since they got Luka, this is a different team and everything else. And, that's true. And you look at the season series between these two, they're 2-2. But 3 of the games were played earlier in the season. Minnesota took 2 out of those first 3. That was prior to the Luka signing, or trade, I should say. And the one game with Luka in the lineup, the Lakers won. They won by 9 points. But I'm going to point something out. 2 things about that game. When Minnesota played the Lakers, that was the absolute horrible scheduling spot for Minnesota. They had played Oklahoma City, I'm going to give you their last 4 games leading up to when they played the Lakers. They played Oklahoma City on the last night before the All-Star break. They beat Oklahoma City. Then they had the 8-day All-Star break. They come back off the All-Star break, and they travel to play Houston. They play the Rockets, who are the number 2 seed. Okay, they lose to the Rockets in a close game, 121-115. They then travel to play Oklahoma City again. They play them at home, and they lose to Oklahoma City in a shootout, 130-123. Then the very next night, 3 games in 4 nights, all in different cities, they go to Oklahoma City and play Oklahoma City in back-to-back games. So they played Oklahoma City, the best team in the NBA, 3 of 4 games, and they beat them in Oklahoma City. And then after that, they had to travel and play the Lakers. So the Lakers were a 6-point favorite, and they win the game by 9 points. So everybody's going to jump on the Lakers because the perception is now they got Luka, they're a better team. Guess what? Go back and look at the box score of that game. Everything that I just told you, all the negatives about Minnesota in that game, and they still only lost by 9, all of the stats were basically even. Turnovers, 3-pointers, field goal percentage for the game, except one stat, Prez. Listen to this. Minnesota went to the foul line 26 times in the game. The Lakers, guess they were getting a little home cooking, 46 times they went to the foul line in that game. They went to the foul line 20 times more than Minnesota. They connected on 12 more points than Minnesota from the foul line. Guess what? That's the difference in the game, those extra foul shots. That's how they won and covered that game in an absolute horrible spot for Minnesota. I'm going to go ahead and take Minnesota tonight. I think the public's too much in love with the Lakers. I think this is going to be a series that could go the distance. Give me Minnesota plus the points tonight.